killings in the state. Also, last week, Monday, the governor of Ondo State, Arakunrin Rotimi Akeredolu, also did same. He carry another quick notice, give Fulani herdsmen with the earth their cattle in the state forest. In say make them come out because now then they cause the issue of kidnapping and other security issue for the state. So if we say it's very important, we'll talk about that. Now you make us bring Chief Femi Fani Kayode. He be one person will be say he don't vocal about this issue for quite some times now, and of course, it's one of the leading voices in the southwest region of Nigeria. Good morning, Chief Femi Fani Kayode. It's good to have you join us this morning.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Without wasting much of your time and of course our audience time, I'd like to let our audience know, say I beg, you know, not go vex because our Chief Femi Fani Kayode love his young pidgin that well. So I go to mix some pidgin English, pidgin English. So you go take him like that with us, and also bear with Chief Fani Kayode himself, saying you know if you speak a pidgin, but he go speak English, the proper English, that's Queen's English, and I'm sure we all will understand that. Chief Femi Fani Kayode, thank you again for joining us. I wanted to ask you, what's your assessment of the roles played by, say, the federal government, the state government, and of course the leaders across the all region of Nigeria in this, in how this issue of Fulani herdsmen, the clashes in the state and security are playing out as we have it now?
I think the role of the federal government has been abominable. I think they have completely failed in their duty to protect the lives and property of the Nigerian people. I think they have encouraged the herdsmen, the killer herdsmen, to do what they have been doing to the people of the Southwest and indeed to the people of the Middle Belt and even the people of the Core North itself. Over the last 5 years, there's been a total breakdown of law and order. What we are witnessing in the Southwest and in other parts is an army of occupation, well-armed, well-funded, well-organized criminal gangs that extort, that kill, that terrorize, that maim, that rape, and that destroy everything in their path. They're like an army of locusts. And these people have believed that they are well above the law. And the situation in the Southwest particularly is that they have been allowed to settle with their arms in the forests of the Southwest. And the reaction to that 1 year ago was the establishment of the Amotekun to defend the local people because the federal government failed to do so. For some curious reason, the government has refused to designate them as terrorists, even though they've killed more people than probably any terrorist organization in the world, because they've been designated by the International Terror Index as the fourth most deadly terrorist organization in the world. But in Nigeria, they're alive and well. And one cannot deny the fact that there must be a link to this, simply because the president himself happens to be of the same ethnic extraction as these people, and for some reason he's pampering them. But whatever the reasons, there's been a failure of duty on the part of the government to protect the people. And like I said, they encourage them, they pamper them, they support them, and they defend them. They've defended them on many occasions when atrocities were being committed. So that's the position. In terms of the state government, well, the state governors, particularly of the Southwest, have tried their best because they don't have any power over the police. They don't have any power over the military. They can only ask for help. And that help comes sometimes, and it doesn't come at other times. But in the case of the Fulani herdsmen, the help never comes. So what some of them have done is pass local legislation to stop these people from moving around freely and so on and so forth. That has helped to a certain extent. But what they've done is regroup in these forests, amass their power, amass their arms, amass their criminal activities, and sprung on the local population. And people have been killed. Businessmen, traditional rulers, leaders, market women, the rich, the poor, the big, the small, being slaughtered on a daily basis, and nobody is being brought to book for this. So that's the position. The government has failed. The government will continue to fail. And as long as they refuse to designate these people as terrorists, I don't see much joy coming at the end of this. This will continue. And I pray that it doesn't degenerate into something else.
Okay, thank you very much. You mentioned that the federal government has failed, and you mentioned that it's for some reasons best known to them. Do you think, okay, I want to ask you, okay, you've mentioned the role of the state government, the federal government. What about the elder statesmen? You know, we know that in Nigeria today, we've had past president, we've had people that have actually dealt with all of this insecurity issue, and people that have, of course, knowledge about this.
Every leader in the Southwest is worth his salt. Every responsible leader in the Southwest, I'm talking about the Southwest now, has spoken out against these atrocities. Every single one of them has asked for help and support from the federal government and asked them to do the right thing and asked them to deliver our people. And they have turned a deaf ear to those voices. Every single one, whether it's Afenifere, whether it's Yoruba Koya Group, whether it is Obasanjo, whether it is this, whether it is that, every single person has spoken out. Professor Akitoye, Babadi Banjo, we've all spoken out. The old leaders, the young leaders, everybody. And nobody's listening. And the people are being slaughtered on a daily basis. And you know, you cannot therefore blame the local people to say, look, if government won't defend us, if government won't deliver us, then we have to defend ourselves. And that's what we're beginning to see unfold. And that's where people like Sunday Igboho now come in, because their position is that, look, nobody's helping. These people are killing. These people are kidnapping. We know who these people are. We know where they are. And we need to do something about it. And I'm glad that Governor Akeredolu in Ondo State has taken the measures he's taken. It's a very, very bold initiative, courageous initiative, rather like what Fayose did in Ekiti State when he was governor, and rather like what other Yoruba governors are trying to do now, and that is to empower Amotekun to do what the federal government was meant to do, but refused to do. So I commend their courage, I commend their commitment, and I also commend every voice in the Southwest that has spoken out against these atrocities. We see the problem here is that it's not just a farmers herders clash. We believe, and rightly so, that we are under occupation. And when people are under occupation, it does not abode well for the unity of the country. And what makes it worse is that when we complain, when we say this is too much, when people's homes are burnt, their children are raped, their wives are raped before them, their children are slaughtered, they're all slaughtered in large numbers. We're not talking about small numbers, hacked to pieces. All kinds of atrocities being committed, ethnic cleansing, genocide, but they refuse to use these words simply because it's not politically expedient to do so. But that's what's going on. And when we complain that this is what is going on, you have groups like Mieti Allah, the umbrella organization for these herdsmen, the Northern Elders Forum, and the Arewa Consultative Forum will come out and then say, we are asking for war when we say that our people should not be killed by their people. This is unacceptable. We have nothing against the Fulani people. I believe in peaceful coexistence, and neither do I believe that anybody has the right to give eviction orders to any ethnic nationality. I do not subscribe to the view that Fulanis should all leave the Southwest, and neither do I subscribe to the view that Igbos should all leave the North, or anybody has the right to tell a whole group, ethnic nationality, to leave any other part of Nigeria. However, I do believe that people that have been identified as killers and murderers and terrorists, and those that seek pleasure or take pleasure in slaughtering others, that it's right and proper for the government to flush them out and bring them to justice. And it's right and proper, if the government fails, for the local people to say, look, enough is enough. We know who you are. We know what you're doing. Leave us alone. Stop killing our people and get out of our territory, or else we will defend ourselves. It's perfectly natural to do that. And by the way, it is also lawful. Nobody should feel threatened by that. And what the Northern leadership should do is tell those Fulanis that are committing these atrocities to desist from doing so and leave the territories. That's what they're supposed to do. Sadly, they failed to do that.
Okay, so you say it is lawful to ask the Fulani herdsmen to leave. And I want to ask you now, Mr. Sunday Adeyemo, the popular Sunday Igbo, is a citizen of Nigeria, just like every other person or individual living in the
Yes.
country. And would you say his action is legitimate to have asked a group of people to vacate a particular place in Nigeria? As a citizen, does he have the authority to do so?
Somebody comes to your house to try to kill your family, and succeeds in wiping some of them out. That will never happen to you. I'm just using it. Or let's say somebody else. They go there, they pillage, they kill, they rape, they slaughter. And the owner of the land and the house will now say to them, listen, you have no right to stay here and you have to leave. And they tell you, no, we're going to live in your sitting room and there's nothing you can do about it. After all, the federal government, the police, the authorities have not asked us to go. We have a right to occupy you. We have a right to rape your women. We have a right to kill your children. We have a right to slaughter you and take everything that belongs to you. Do you really believe it's illegitimate for the owner of that land and the owner of that house to say, listen, either you leave or we're going to have a conflagration here because I cannot continue to be your slave and I can't continue to allow you to slaughter my people? It's as simple as that. Now, he has not asked for all Fulanis to leave. If he did that, I would oppose it. I would oppose it. He has not asked that the whole of, every Fulani person should leave those areas. He does not have the right to do that. But he certainly has the right to say those that kill and kidnap and maim must leave. And he did precisely that, and it worked. And he went to them peacefully. Without any arms, they tried to shoot him. They pointed guns at him. They shot guns at him. He disarmed them and he said, I've come in peace, but I want to see your leader. He spoke to the leader. He said that the leader accepted that his boys slaughtered a very prominent businessman that came from abroad, a Yoruba man, and established his business and employed over 200 people in that area, and him and so many others, that the man acknowledged this and that he now told him, produce the killers. If you don't produce the killers, please, you and these killers must leave. And he also said that the Seriki himself had, got a kickback, whatever you call it, from the killings. Now, these are very serious allegations. And in a serious country, the police ought to investigate this, invite the man and arrest him. Instead, the man that said, stop killing our people, stop raping our women, and stop kidnapping our people is the one that's being threatened with arrest. When the northern youths, 1 or 2 years ago, said openly that every Igbo man must leave the East, nobody threatened them with arrest. Nobody, and they didn't say those that kill. They said all Igbos must leave the East. Nobody threatened them with arrest. Nothing happened. But when people are saying these guys should leave, after they slaughtered our people, kidnapped our people, and killed our people, people are saying he should be arrested. Is that fair? Is it reasonable? Is it rational? Of course it's not. And we're not prepared to take it anymore. And let me tell you, his actions reflect the views and have the support of 99% of Yoruba leaders and Yoruba people. He has spoken the minds of virtually every single one of us. And I commend his courage. And I would urge the government to be extremely careful in how they handle him. If you kill him, there will be a terrible reaction in the Southwest. If you arrest him, you're going to make him a hero. If you kill him, he becomes a martyr. If you arrest him, he will become the greatest hero since probably Balu Bodirinla, who delivered us from the Fulanis in 1840 and pushed them back from Oshobo back to Ilorin. So this is the dilemma that the government has. Now, what's the solution? Do your job. Go in there, disarm these people, fight them, and take them out and bring them to justice. It's not for the ordinary people to do that. It's for the federal government to do that. But they have refused to do it simply because they have ethnic affinity with these people and they are pampering them and they're encouraging them and they're supporting them.
Indeed, you have mentioned that some of the claims are made by Mr. Sunday Adeyemo. They are very serious allegations, and we can't, of course, confirm any of those at the moment. I just want to put that on record. And while you were talking,
well, let me just say this just before I acknowledge what you said. I happen to believe those allegations. Why? Because every traditional ruler in that area has confirmed what he has said. Every single leader in Okeogun area of Oyo State has said the same thing, and it's not a new problem. It has been going on for a number of years now. So that's the position that we've taken. And virtually every Yoruba believes that.
All right, thank you very much. You spoke about political expediency, and I want to refer you to a statement on your website. You said some Yoruba leaders want to be president or vice president in 2023 and are therefore prepared to keep quiet and tolerate this rubbish that has been done to our people. I'm not one of those leaders. Nothing in this world can make me trade in the blood and lives of my people. Who are these leaders that you think are keeping quiet because they have perhaps an ambition, that a future ambition? Who are these leaders? Would you mind sharing your thoughts on them with us?
They know who they are. They know who they are. And I don't want to be mentioning names on your program, and I don't want to offend anybody. When I choose to be offensive, I can be very offensive, and I will be offensive when the time is right. And I've said in that same essay that the time will come when we will start naming these people, naming and shaming them, because we're tired and we're fed up. You see, I visit these communities, not just in the Southwest. I've visited the communities in Southern Kaduna, in the Middle Belt, in the core North itself, where so many people have been killed by these herdsmen and bandits. I've visited them in the Southwest. I've visited them in the South-South. I've visited them in the Southeast. And I've visited these communities. I've seen the damage these people do. And nobody speaks for the victims. Nobody defends them. Nobody stands up for them. It's almost as if they're being sacrificed. And I'm talking about huge numbers. Zamfara State, for example, up until the time the new governor came in, 300 to 400 people were being killed on a daily basis. Nobody cared. This, to me, is unbelievable. It's almost as if we've all become sociopaths. We have no empathy with the victims. Now, in the Southwest, particularly where I come from, what has been going on there is nothing less than occupation. Literally, you have an army of Fulani herdsmen. If you're herding cows, why do you need AK-47s? If you're herding cows, why is it you're kidnapping people? One of our leaders, when the daughter of the leader of the Yorubas, leader of Afenifere, Baba Fasoroti, his daughter was killed. One of our prominent leaders of Southwest went to pay him a visit, condolence visit. And when he was told that, look, we all know who did this, and the Fulani herdsmen did it. And his question was, where are the cows? Where are the cows? Well, of course, he got his answer about 2 months later, when those that committed this heinous crime and murdered this lady, beautiful lady, were caught. And of course, they were Fulani herdsmen. So there you are. Many of our leaders were living in denial. But what Sunday Igboho has done is that he has galvanized the thinking of every Yoruba person. And even the leaders are now coming out openly. Only one or two have not said anything. I know who they are. I will not mention them now. But we're waiting, and we will see at the right time. We will name them and we will shame them. And let me also say this, in fairness to them, there is a time for everything. I know that they feel as bad as, you and I do and everybody else does. I know this because I know these people. And one thing about the Southwesterners is this, a lot of people don't know, is that we always come together, regardless of political, religious, or religious, or perhaps tribal, or ethnic divisions, because we have tribes within Yoruba land. We always come together when there's an existential threat. It happened in 1840. It happened in the Civil War. It has happened over and over again, over June 12th. So it really doesn't matter what party you're in, what your religious faith is, whether you're in Ijebu and Ife and Oyo, whatever it is, even a Lagosian. At the end of the day, when there's an existential threat, we always come together and we resist that threat. So I still have hope that these people will not allow their ambitions, their vain ambitions, to becloud their better judgment. And if they do, well, they will only have themselves to blame. People like myself, though, will always stand with and for the people, because we have to have the people to lead and to rule over. We're not going to rule and lead corpses. And the priority has to be the welfare, security of our people. And that's why you call yourself a leader. And I'm proud to be one of those that has stood up to do that.
Okay, I want us to go back to Mr. Sunday Adeyemo Igbo himself. You've spoken and you said that you, as one of the leading voices in Yoruba land, and you've let us know that this is what the leaders are saying. This is their stand. Have you met Mr. Sunday Igbo himself, physically, personally? Have you met
Well,
him?
no, the point is that well, of course, he's somebody that I know well, and somebody that he's not. See, a lot of people don't this young man is not just an activist. This is somebody that is very seasoned in many, many things and in many skills, and he's captured the imagination of the Yoruba people. He has voiced their sentiments. Enough is enough. That's what he's saying. He's not a radical. He's not a murderer. He's not a thug. He's not a killer. He's not somebody that's looking for trouble. He's simply saying enough is enough. And that is why many of us support him. And I will say that I'm very proud of his efforts because he's managed to achieve in the space of just 2 or 3 days what many of us could not achieve in many, many years. And like I said in one of my write-ups, if he continues in this way, he will be regarded as one of the greatest heroes in the Southwest, ever since this country was established. And I sincerely hope that he does. I do not encourage violence, and I know I don't believe that he does either, and I would not suggest he would indulge in violence. But in terms of awareness and in terms of self-defense of our people, in the event of our people not being defended by the government or protected by the government, he's somebody that I admire immensely, and I want to encourage him, and I stand with him.
Thank you very much. If you just join us this now, BBC Preaching, we did live with Chief Femi, Fani, Kayode, and we discuss the issue of Fulani Earthsmen and the clashes and the security issue in the Southwest. As we speak, I know for a fact that the Southwest governors will be meeting with the Mieti leadership in Akure, the Ondo State capital, today, alongside the governor of Ondo State, of course, Arakunrin Rotimi Akeredolu. I'm sure you're aware of that, of course. All right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you a question, but before that, if you had a seat, say you had a seat, say you were a governor and you had a seat, what would be your position today at that meeting?
Well, you don't yield and you don't surrender. You've taken a position. Look, listen, Akeredolu cannot afford to change his position. He's done the right and proper thing. He has also become a hero, if you like, in the Southwest by doing the right and proper thing. And he stood up like a man and he said, listen, that I'm not after the Fulanis. I'm not trying to get them all out. I'm simply saying that they cannot stay in the forest. They cannot continue what they're doing. The killings have to stop. And that those that want to continue should register. I really don't see what the song and dance is about that. He's saying they cannot just sit in the forest and continue with what they've been doing all these years. That's the right and proper thing to do. Anybody that suggests to him that he should change his course, he should allow them to continue, is not serious and is, downright irresponsible and also dangerous. Because let me tell you, if he does not do what he said he's going to do, it is only a question of time before the ordinary people say, to hell with him, to hell with the federal government. We will take the law into our own hands and we will do something about this. And nobody wants it to get to that point. So he's doing the right and proper thing. And I would encourage him to stand firm, to hold his head up high, and to consider the sentiments and feelings of his people rather than what some of his colleagues may want to tell him. But I doubt any Yoruba government will tell him to change his mind anyway. Maybe others, but not Yorubas.
Okay, sir. And we want to talk about, you mentioned Amotekun the other time, and we know that this security operative was set up to...
You're breaking a little bit.
Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me? I don't know if you can hear me. I think we're having a bit of network issue.
Break.
Chief Femi Fani Kayode, can you hear me? If you just join us, this still will still day on top live interview with Chief Femi Fani Kayode. We've been to talk about the issue of Fulani herdsmen and farmer elders matters for Southwest Nigeria. Chief Femi Fani Kayode, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
All right, we're having a bit of network challenge there. Yes, before that short break in transmission, I was just about to ask you that we all know that Amotekun, the security outfit for the Southwest, was set up to tackle security and, of course, provide support for the main security outfit. Do you think they are capable enough? They are effective enough? They have the wherewithal to nip this in the bud?
Well, I sincerely hope they do. I think they're doing a pretty good job within the available resources they have. Most importantly, they have the support of all the Southwestern governments, and that's commendable. I think they still have a lot of work to do because, frankly speaking, these people are embedded like an army of occupation in our forests, and they have not been rooted out. The truth of the matter is this: it will take the military itself to flush out all those people. I mean, a state government can pass all the laws it likes. It can have local vigilantes like Amoteku and others and so on and so forth defending the people, and we can commend them and encourage them for that, even support them. But at the end of the day, this is a job that has to be done by the military. These people are highly organized, well-funded, well-armed, very skillful, and they have the support and backing of elements within the security agencies and within the government, as far as I'm concerned. If that was not the case, why is it that the presidency consistently defends their abominable actions? A couple of years back, Femi, good friend of mine, who's the spokesman of President, when he was confronted by Nigeria, the atrocities that were being committed all over the country by these same Fulani killer herdsmen, butchering people and sacking towns and all kinds of atrocities. And his only response was that, listen, you either keep the land or you keep your life. In other words, you must leave your land for these people to take. Otherwise, they're going to kill you. That was the presidency's response. Again, a year later, when Miyetti Allah was defending these atrocities, Shehu Garba, another spokesman for the president, came out and said, and people were complaining and said, how could you be defending this evil? The spokesman for the president came out and said, people should respect Miyetti Allah and stop criticizing and condemning them for what they said. This is at a time when Nigerians were calling for Miyetti Allah and the Fulani herdsmen to be designated as a terrorist organization. Okay? And that was the response. Now, this time round, those that kill our people were identified and were asked to leave. And the same Shehu Garba, on behalf of the presidency, said that that person did. He also criticized Akeredolu for saying that, that the forest should be, that they should leave the forest. The trust. Now, what that tells you, the government complicit in these matters, has encouraged these people and will always support these people. As for ACE, Arewa Forum, Northern Elders Forum, and Miyetti Allah itself, like I said earlier, anybody that is those activities labeled as warmongers, are labeled as people that are threatening the peace and peaceful coexistence of Nigeria and are being demonized. This is unacceptable. So the bottom line is this: it is time for everybody to wake up and smell the coffee. This cannot go much longer. This group of people do not represent, in my view, the Fulani people. There are millions of very good Fulani people in this country who do not subscribe to this view, who will not support this activity, and who will not allow it. The Sultan of Sokoto is one of them. The governor of Zamfara is another, governor of Sokoto. So many that do not believe in this. Bala Mohammed and Bauchi, so many of them that are not prepared. Even their own people are being killed. So it's not necessarily something that the Fulanis are responsible for. However, those that are perpetuating that are murderous Fulani herdsmen. And they are the people we are against, not the Fulani people. And if a Yoruba militia were to go up to the north in the name of herding or cow rearing or in the name of pig rearing and slaughter the people of the north morning, day and night, we would be the first to rise up and say, these people do not represent us. We'll go there and we'll flush them out ourselves and support our northern brothers in doing that. And that's the situation, and that's how it has to be. Unfortunately, we haven't seen that. And that is why many of us in Yoruba land, particularly those that are just fed up with what's going on in this country, are saying enough is enough. Something has to be done.
Thank you very much for that thought. We don't really have much time on our hands. Time done the work as small. So let me get your thought on this. And I think it is important when we talk about problems, we should also prefer solutions. And how do you think this whole issue can be resolved without further violence or bloodshed?
The first thing that has to happen is the government has to cultivate the political will to bring the perpetrators of terrorism to justice. They need to, first of all, designate the killer Fulani herdsmen for what they are, terrorists. Then they need to send in the military to apprehend them, if necessary, shoot every single one of them if they refuse to submit. They need to warn Mieti Allah and tell Mieti Allah, if you continue to support these people, we will declare you as terrorists as well. They need to commit themselves to defending the communities and the people of this country, all over the country, not just in the southwest, but in the north, in the middle belt, in the southeast, the south-south, everywhere. They need to commit to defend the people and protect their lives and property. That's the first thing. Without that, nothing can change. Once they've done that, then you now look into legislation, which you're prepared to enforce, which is to ensure that these people operate in a reasonable, human, decent, civilized manner. You can't just bring your cows into people's homes and eat up all your farm, take that. This sort of thing is barbaric. You can't do that. There has to be regulation at federal level and state level. And you come to some kind of agreement as to how they're going to manage themselves and what they're going to do, what they'll be allowed to do, what they won't be allowed to do. Something similar to what Kayode is doing in Ondo now, something that Fayose did successfully in Ekiti. And I believe all the Yoruba governments are trying their best to do that. Because you see, they know what the reaction of our people will be ultimately if they don't. So this is the way forward. And that is what we have to work on. But the question you have to ask yourself is this. A man that went to this Sebuke in Ibarapa in Oyo State in 2001, who is our president today, and he went there to go and meet the governor of Oyo State, then Lamadishino. He's passed on now. And Buhari went there, General Buhari, because there was a clash between the Fulanis and the Yorubas at that time, 2001. And when he got there, the first thing he said to the governor was that, why are your people killing my people? That is a former head of state. In other words, even then, he saw this as his people and the other side are your people. And that is his mindset till today. So if you're waiting for him to change that mindset, to say, no, we're all equal and that people should be treated fairly, the Fulanis have no right to kill others. If you're waiting for and that they will enforce the law and the constitution, you will wait forever. It's not going to happen. It hasn't happened in the last 5 years. And that's the dilemma that we have in Nigeria. And that is the challenge that we are facing. Weak leadership, partial leadership, and these people believe they are president of the Fulani Republic of Nigeria and not president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Until they change that mindset, I'm afraid we have very, very stormy days ahead of us. And I pray to God that there is no violence and we can come to a peaceful solution with this.
Thank you very much, Chief Femi Fani Kayode, for joining us on this program, and of course for sharing your thoughts.
Thank you.
With us. So we reached out to you very late last night, and you did oblige us. That's very kind of you. Thank you very much. With the watchers, this is BBC Pidgin. We don't talk about the issue of farmer elders clash in the southwest. My name, Najedi Lat Olali. No vex. I forgot to mention my name when we start the program. Now, how do you think they do?
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
All the best.
Thank you very much.
Bye.